Hey, what's up AI friends? Hope you're having a great day today. So today we're going to talk about GitHub Copilot X. So essentially if you're coding and using GitHub, you can code way faster as now GitHub has integrated ChatGPT or GPT-4 into coding, so it'll be way easier for you. We'll also talk about Adobe Firefly, which is basically their AI integration into all of the creative things that you're doing in the Adobe suites. We'll talk about Nvidia's Picasso, that is basically the cloud services and GPU servers that you're using in the cloud to do all these AI generating in the backend. We'll also talk about how Bing is directly in chat, and you can basically create an image in Bing chat with DALL-E 2. So let's jump right into the first one. So GitHub just launched Copilot X. Your AI pair programmer is leveling up, where it basically said that GitHub Copilot is evolving to bring you chat and voice interfaces. You can now do chat and terminal interfaces, support for pull requests, and early adaptation of OpenAI's GPT-4. GitHub Copilot X is our vision for the future of AI-powered software development integrated into every part of your workflow. So I saw some weird things on Twitter essentially saying that most of coding is now done by AI, and this is gonna exponentialize this way more. So here you can see that content-aware conversations with your Copilot. If you're stuck solving a problem, ask GitHub Copilot to explain a piece of code. Bump into an error, have GitHub Copilot fix it. So they've done Copilot for a bit now, but it obviously hasn't been as good as GPT-4. And now they're integrating that into Copilot as well, which really helps expedite how fast you can do the code. So spend less time searching and more time learning by getting personal answers that are grounded in maintainer written documentation. It's also, way better at getting context. So you have your code, it can read the code, and you can ask questions about the code. Previous versions, like for example, even if you go into ChatGPT and you write some code, it will do some sort of hallucinations where it writes things that they're hallucinating that actually it exists, but it doesn't actually exist. You know what I mean? So here you can also see the pull requests that will be extremely beneficial for collaboration, new features that are getting added, changes on top of code. This will expedite the learnings and collaboration so much. It will be amazing to see how it will actually work. So pull requests that tell a story. GitHub Copilot keeps track of your work, suggests descriptions, and helps reviewers reason about your changes with a code walkthrough. And that's the hardest part about, hey, look at all this code. Should we integrate this? And then everybody has to learn it, and it's kind of hard to integrate, right? AI generated PR descriptions. We all skipped the pull request template too many times. And this is what I'm talking about. Automated testing, missed a test. Well, Copilot can point out missing unit tests and generate new test cases for you after every build. Take a command of your CLI. So this is very, very interesting if you have been in the past taking a lot of code from Google, copy pasting it directly in, and then not knowing what this all means. Forget how to delete a tag, ask GitHub Copilot for assistance right in your terminal. Need help with multi-step shell commands and scripting. And essentially for people that don't know, it means that if you don't know what fmpeg means, you can see that it's used to convert video files. So it explains all the tags that you have in there, right? So here, can't wait for the future. You can sign up now, and I'll show you what you need in order to sign up and everything like that. And you can see 74% focus on more satisfying work, 88% feel more productive, and 96% are faster with repetitive tasks. If you tried to code even in ChatGPT, you obviously know how fast it is to do menial typing work that just isn't necessary anymore. GitHub Next is constantly exploring new ideas to create a more productive future of software development, helping you build what's next. So here are some frequently asked questions, and the X represents a placeholder for where we intend GitHub Copilot to become available and what we expect it to be capable of doing, e.g. Copilot for pull requests for security. Now, when will GitHub Copilot X be available and how much does it cost? It's currently a representation of GitHub's vision for the future rather than an available product offering of GitHub Copilot. So they're going to continue to design and test and build features that fall into the GitHub Copilot X vision. So they need to take some time. They need to obviously test it with multiple different people before we can actually get it directly into our code. It's going to break a lot of things, I believe. How do I get access to the upcoming features introduced with Copilot X? While we are available to guarantee access to each feature or unable to guarantee access to each feature, you can submit your interest by joining the waiting list to preview the features that you are interested in. So they have multiple different features, and maybe you can join some of them and not all of them. But this, if they are moving as fast as Microsoft is, well, they'll be releasing things fast, and you can probably get access to that. GitHub Copilot for Business and GitHub Copilot for Individuals will continue to be offered with the same feature set you know today. So you can see here that they need to continue to design, test, and build features that fall into the GitHub Copilot vision and determine the best way to provide them to our customers, which include changes to Copilot for Business and for Individuals. Now, when it comes to perspective on responsible use of AI, obviously everybody's talking about that because they don't want people to say, the N-word or say ya mama jokes, to you, like we've seen some with Bing. So they've been committed to innovating responsibly with GitHub Copilot from the start and will continue to invest in the AI-powered developer experience in the future. And this is amazing to see from GitHub, and that they are actually embracing the AI change. So coding can become kind of a different thing where you just text things to the code and the code writes itself, right? Now, keeping it professional, you kind of got to keep it professional, improving code quality, making it shorter, cutting out the fluff, protecting user data. And a lot of people are kind of hard on this with the protecting user data. For example, Google's Bard said that, we can read your emails on Gmail. They were like, I don't want you to have access to our Gmail, and it's illegal. So obviously protecting your user data is very important. And by the way, the Google Bard thing was just a mistake on Google Bard's 8, right? So there are no prerequisites to preview GitHub Copilot for Docs. However, GitHub Copilot for Docs currently supports documentation for GitHub, React, MDN, and Azure. I also want to show you guys this blog here, the AI-powered developer experience, where it basically said that GitHub Copilot is evolving to bring you chat and voice interfaces, support pull requests, answer questions on docs, and adopt OpenAI's GPT-4. So it can actually even do voice, which is absolutely wild. Now, I just want to scroll down here to show you guys a couple of images here. So redefining developer productivity, where 75% more fulfilled, 55% faster coding, 1 million developers using it, 46% code written. It's now wild. And 5,000 businesses have used it. So many developers and companies are already using GitHub Copilot, and it's helping improve productivity and happiness. So this is the previous version, right? Now I want to show you guys how it kind of looks like so you can get an idea. So here you can see that it's basically the chat on the left, and you can see here, please fix the bugs in my code. And just like that, it is copy paste, and just like that, it's fixed, right? And that is the end of this video. Yep. So you can see how beautifully that is done. You can also add support for the generic, yeah, here we go. This pull request, you know, this is like Gmail, but for coding and for pull requests. So this will help a lot of people collaborate even more. And it's amazing to see. You can also see here that when you go into, I found 2 changes that may need tests. So it can actually check up on tests for you, which is an extreme time saver here, and suggest tests here. And then it needs to do the test for these. And just like that, you just got a lot faster, right? Another example here is, you can see here, get AI generated answers about documentation. So this is almost kind of like a doc, right? It's almost kind of like a customer support type of thing where GitHub Copilot is actually answering for you without there actually being a human, but it looks more like a blog, or it looks more like a chat interface, or not a chat interface, more like a blog, right? So it looks like the customer support part of a website, and it is way easier to use like that compared to, you know, you can also probably do chat, but there you can also do the answers about documentation. So those are the things that I wanted to talk to you about for GitHub. I can't believe the time we are in, where basically coding is going to be something that even normal humans can do. It's kind of like learning a language like Spanish or English. You have to learn the entire language, but now you can learn by just asking questions to the computer, and the computer will write the code for you even without having to learn the language itself. So I'm gonna leave a link to it in the description, and you can join the waiting list. There's many different features. You can join the waiting list for CLI. You can enroll your repository. You can click a lot of these buttons to sign up to these features. And I'm gonna leave links to these in the description down below. The next thing I wanna talk to you guys about is Adobe launches Firefly, and they're focused on commercial use, and they introduce a do not train tag for creators who do not want their content to be used in model training. Enables customers to monetize their talents. This is such a huge step for Adobe. So I just want to show you the video that explains kind of how it works. So you can see change scene to winter, which is a very hard thing to do in Photoshop. And you kind of need to be an expert Photoshopper to even make this work. Look how insanely well it did that. You can even get different variations in the bottom here as well. So that would be super easy to do. And you can see the scene is completely changing. And just like that, you can even play the video for it. And obviously that's not gonna be a super hardcore video that is hard to generate. It's probably a picture that's moving back and forth like this. But we'll talk about video in a second. Here you can see the next picture here, or the next feature is you can circle around the dog's hair and click on generate similar brushes. Now, to generate a brush is kind of hard, and in normal Photoshop, it takes a while to actually create a brush like this. But in just a single click, you can just create a brush, and all of a sudden you can make more hair on your dog. And just like that, it got a fro. And I mean, that's insane. Now here, I believe this is more of Adobe's 3D tool. So it's a watch here, and you can add leather, like a texture on it. You can see the metal, you can pull it on top of the metal part of the watch, and you can actually generate multiple different types of AI images here as well, or AI textures. They also have this feature here that you can essentially just draw something on top of an image, and you can click on river, and it just creates a river for you. You can also put a tree in here, and just like that, you can create kind of like a collage instead of having to, you know, paint everything yourself. And this, I mean, this looks like it works a lot like a brush, but I'll show you another tool here coming up in a second. So here you can generate a template. So make templates from your mood board. And just like that, you have a template here. And this is easily like a Canva destroyer in a sense. Now here they have a futuristic scarlet tanager bird, very detailed. I don't know what that type of bird is. They remove the background, and just like that, you have a beautiful scene that is happening. You can have a brush here, again, that could have created by this other AI tool, and just like that, blending them together. Now this is one of the most interesting features in my opinion, and we've seen this kind of with DALL-E 2 as well. And I'll get to like who are the partners and everything later in this video as well. Now here you can click on generate variations, and it will create multiple different variations of the same lighthouse. This will help so many people get these unique ideas, and even help with composition in a lot of cases to create such amazing works of art. You can also type here an underwater city and click on generate, and just like that, under the turtle here that literally has a lighthouse on top of it, you have a beautiful city. Now you can see vector variations for this sketch, and just like that, it is also good at text. And well, no AI is still yet good at text, but you can see this creates a vector of a logo that you can draw on a napkin, and all of a sudden is now in, for example, Illustrator, where you can create cool styles here. So you can also create text styles based on images plus a picture that you create. So you can see here that we have a monkey in the shape of an M, and then you have like a hairy fluffy thing in the shape of an M as well. I'm seeing a lot of people on Twitter really loving this and using this already to create like the word bread in bread. In bread? Scary. Apply texture to meow, just like that. That's so exactly what I'm talking about. Crazy stuff. My headphones in a studio. So this is blowing my mind in a sense. Like, you can actually have your own things and then make it, you know, it understands the 3D space of it. And yeah, I mean, you can even have product photographs. Let's say, for example, you're a clothing brand, or let's say you're a headphone brand, right? You can use these images on your social media without having to pay a person to go out in the woods. It's really a cool time to be alive. So you can see here that they're, you know, introducing the do not train tag for creators who do not want their contents used in model training. So we've seen this a bunch of people hating on AI because they have worked for 10, 20 years to create their own style, and then all of a sudden get ripped off, right? And I really am compassionate about those creative people, because it takes so long to actually hone your craft, and then it gets taken away from people. So it's really important that we use this responsibly. Now, you can also see that you can enable customers to extend Firefly training with their own creative collateral, which basically means use your own images to train the AI, generating content in their own style or brand language. This is very important in my opinion, because you know, these AI tools, they kind of make this thing and then they make that thing, and then they don't have any coherence between them. And I really like when you have a set style and that style continues through, and they're focusing on that. Now let's see what they're saying here. Like David Wadhwani, the president, is saying generative AI is the next evolution of AI-driven creativity and productivity, transforming the conversation between creator and computer into something more natural, intuitive, and powerful. With Firefly, Adobe will bring generative AI-powered creative ingredients directly into customers' workflow, increasing productivity and create expression for all creators, from high-end creator professional to the long tail of the creator economy. And they're actually focusing a bit on the creator economy, as I was teasing earlier here. Through the beta process, the company will engage with the creative community and customers as it evolves this transformational technology and begins integrating it into its applications. So you can see here that they will start with Adobe Express, Adobe Experience Manager, Adobe Photoshop, and Illustrator. Now, to my knowledge, they have yet to implement this, and obviously this is very new news, so it's obviously not integrated yet. And I really wonder how fast it will take to integrate into these softwares. So here, a customer-centric approach. Now, I really wonder how they're gonna do this, and so follow along on this channel, subscribe if you haven't, helping creators work more efficiently. So Adobe is leveraging generative AI to ease with burden with solutions for working faster, smarter, and with greater convenience, including the ability for customers to train Adobe Firefly with their own collateral, generating content in their own personal style or brand language. Now, here is the important part: compensating creators. Adobe's intent is to build generative AI in a way that enables customers to monetize their talents, much like Adobe has done with Adobe Stock and Behance. Now, if you don't know, I actually made a video on uploading 100 images to Adobe Stock. And I've already made money from uploading AI images to Adobe Stock, which to me is absolutely insane because I didn't paint anything. I didn't 3D render anything. I literally typed something into the computer. I uploaded it to Adobe Stock and I made money from it, which is absolutely insane. And so that they're going to continue this evolution is very, very cool because they're taking in account the creator and they're also taking in account the customer that actually wants these images in an easy way. Like, many people don't want to sit there and prompt like multiple different examples and try to figure it all out. They just want to search for something, click on buy, and then they got the image ready to use, right? So Adobe is developing a compensation model for Adobe Stock contributors and will share details once Adobe Firefly is out of beta. So I really can't wait until this is out, and hopefully more creative people can make more money in the creator economy. So you can see advocating for open standard and the Firefly ecosystem that make Adobe Firefly available via APIs on various platforms to enable customers to integrate into custom workflows and automations, which will be amazing, right? For example, I mean, there's a lot of text to image APIs that you can now use, and you can use it in type of an email format, right? If you have an email that is like, let's go on a vacation to Hawaii, you actually have an image that pops up directly in the beginning there. So those are some of the things written on the News Adobe blog here. Now I just want to show you some extra features that they have released, and this is a second video that is also really cool, and I want to show you exactly what this is all about. So I just need to turn off I'm just going to click on play here, and there's some extra features that we didn't show in the first video. So you can see a portrait of a person in an art studio with plants and sunlight, and just like that you have a cool text to image. Now I want to show you some examples of the text to image, how it compares to other platforms in a minute, but here you can see that the styles here are really cool. They also have this DALL-E-esque type of feature where you can expand the image, and I really love that feature. But this is one of the coolest parts. He paints out the jacket, right? And then writes a red jacket, clicks on generate, and just like that, he got like a motorcycle jacket on, and now he's like an outdoorsy man all of a sudden, and now he's going to a party where they're serving Gouda. So this is really cool. I love that they have this smile And yeah, now you can force like your grandma to smile even when she doesn't want to. And even the eye openness, you can just like kind of make it smaller so it actually looks like they're smiling. So this is going to be an amazing feature to use. And they actually do kind of have this in Photoshop already. They have depth to image. Now, a lot of people don't use this, but you can see how they use this in a creative way. So a sunlit living room with modern furniture, and just like that, they've created the depth map and created a new image on top of this, which is absolutely beautiful. I love how this is done, and I hope it works exactly like they are choosing here. And yeah, the creative ways that you can use this for are just going to be immense. Here you can see a model, and you just put a 3D model, and then it actually makes it into an image. So here you can see a castle on a hill, a castle dessert, and you make it like a gingerbread house. Make a birthday poster, and this is like a more simpler, and then you can actually say it's her 6th birthday. And kind of like ChatGPT, maybe you can have a chat integration here, and you can click on generate, and all of a sudden it's their 6th birthday, right? Even upload an image of her, and just like that, you have a beautiful little template. Here you can see conversational editing. So the dressed dog in a Santa suit, and then you can put him in front of a gingerbread house. Here you can see text to vector hot air balloons over a valley at golden hour. And now vectors, if you don't know, is a way to always have the same quality. So you can blow it up to the size of Empire State Building without losing the quality. And that's what Illustrator is for. So you can see here that you can have it as small or as big as you want without ever losing the quality, which in like normal terms, to make this balloon here even would be insanely hard to do. So that's gonna save a lot of time. Now here, this I love so much. You can combine photos. So as you can see, you have a, what type of bird is that? I don't know. You have a beach, and then you have this mountainy, very creative image. And it creates this really, really awesome photo. And you can see these 4 photos creating these images here. The ways that we will be able to use this and create new things is going to be absolutely insane. Here is a new feature that nobody else has, which is basically using a color reference. So you have this photo, then you insert the prompt like a cloud sky over the sea with reflection. And you can even have a mythical temple in the middle of the jungle with these color references. And just like that, you can see the style is transferred, or the color is transferred over to the other image. This is amazing for photographers that basically wants to keep the same color palette throughout the entire video or throughout the entire Instagram feed, for example. So this is going to be really helpful for that. Also for color grading for movies as well, is going to be amazingly helpful. Here we have upscaling. This is nothing new. We already have even open source softwares like Upscaly that I've used to upscale images. And yeah, I mean, all of these features just packed into Adobe's products is just such a huge package, right? All of these new creative things that we're now able to do and create so many cool things. And I'm so happy for new creators. I think a lot of people say like, oh, creators will be gone and we'll not need creative people. I think now it enables us to be way more creative and create even cooler art, create even cooler pieces and things and 3D models that we have never ever been able to do before without the tedious tasks of brush strokes and writing and having a pen to the paper. Like I've been drawing for a while, I've been doing Photoshop for a long time, and there's still things that I found extremely tedious, but I can also do it for the enjoyment of the task, right? Now the main thing for me is that the image generators are stealing artist work. And I think it's very important that we actually have this integrated into every single text to image or, all these different style that you can't actually steal their photos or styles or things like this, which I think is very cool that Adobe has this integrated in, actually writes it first into their article here. That is the do not train tag. So we can actually still have creators that's used years of their life to create a new style and that not get taken away from them in a heartbeat, right? Obviously, this is a new breakthrough in creativity and I'm excited to see what is coming next. Nvidia just launched Picasso, a cloud service that makes AI available to everyone. Maybe you haven't seen what they are doing with text to video with Runway Gen 2. So Nvidia is behind, for example, text to video by Runway ML. So you can see these amazing text to video features that are running in the back end on Nvidia's cloud computing, right? And I'll share with you everything that is happening in the back end here and the features that they are essentially launching to everybody to make it more accessible. And Nvidia really believes that AI is the future. And here you can see Gen 2 of Runway ML. And by the way, if you didn't know, Gen 1 is now available to everybody on Runway. But yeah, you can do this with your images. So if you have, for example, a video of your dog, you can now create it into all these different styles, which obviously is absolutely insane. Just go to runwayml.com and check it out. So you might be wondering, like, what is Nvidia Picasso? So it's actually a cloud service for building generative AI powered visual applications. Now, this is new for Nvidia because usually they sell hardware, right? But now they've actually went into DGX cloud, which is something completely new for them, which I'm so happy that they're doing. Just like AWS from Amazon or Azure from Microsoft, they have all these server rooms that are running computing in the background, right? Now, they can maybe use it for storage or, uploading things to the cloud. But Nvidia is actually doing this with AI, and that's where they're trying to differentiate themselves from their competitors. And what they're really working on here is text to image, text to video, and text to 3D. Now, we've taken a lot of looks on this channel about text to image. There's so many like Midjourney, DALL-E, Stable Diffusion, and so forth. But text to video is something that we still haven't looked that much into. So it uses a lot of computing power to actually make these models, right? So text to video temporal layers and novel video denoiser generates high fidelity videos with temporal consistency. When it comes to text to video, there aren't really that many good ones yet. And Runway ML to me is the one that is on top right now. Usually they're kind of buggy, they're kind of like lagging a little bit, or especially they're not that pleasant to look at just yet. The space is moving really fast and I'm happy to see Nvidia is on the forefront of creating new cool AI innovations. The other one that is very interesting is text to 3D. Now this one is actually very close to being perfect. They can even model things down to specific textures that has like very, very good. I'll show you in a minute exactly how it works, but making 3D objects with just text is absolutely ridiculous to me. And they can move it, into video games. They can move it into 3D design for architecture and a lot of different cool things. So now you can supercharge your applications with generative AI, differentiate your application with custom generative AI models. So for example, they can train your data and create new things just like that. So you can see, use state-of-art pre-trained Edify models or train it with your custom dataset and host it on Nvidia DGX Cloud, perform inference through APIs. Now, Nvidia has some amazing partners right off the bat. You can see Adobe here that is partnering with Nvidia to co-develop generative AI models with focus on responsible content attribution and provenance to accelerate workflows of the world's leading creators and marketers. You can also see Getty Images being one of the big partners here. And if you don't know, Getty Images actually sued creators of AI art tool Stable Diffusion. I think also Midjourney is in problems because they have been trained on all these Getty images, right? So you can see here that actually this was created by Stable Diffusion, and you actually had the Getty image logo there or watermark on top of it, which Getty Images is like, nah, stay away from training your stupid model on our epic images. And that's where Nvidia is taking a step back and saying, you know what, let's partner with the best or the most popular stock image website on the web, right? So Getty Images is working in collaboration with Nvidia to provide custom developed image and generation models in Picasso trained on fully licensed data. It's going to be very interesting to see what's going to happen with this in AI, where licensing will actually have a huge impact on what you can use, what you can't use, and so forth. They're also partnering with Shutterstock. And I'm so interested to see what Shutterstock and Getty Images will do, specifically because they're partnering with Adobe as well. Now, if you don't know, Adobe has actually been the most open to AI stock photography, or on their stock footage website, they actually started to say, you know what, you can upload Midjourney images. You can upload AI generated images to our stock website. But for Getty Images, they're like, no, you're not gonna upload any AI generated images to our websites. So it's gonna be interesting to see if they're gonna change their mind. And also Shutterstock, for example, is not allowing any stock footage generated by AI on their website. So it's gonna be very interesting to see if it's gonna develop in some sort of way. I mean, if you can create a photo that looks better than a photo you can take in real life, I mean, is there even necessary to have images and stuff like that taken by photographers? I don't even know. That's why I'm really interested to see what is going to happen there. So Shutterstock is partnering with Nvidia to develop models to generate 3D assets trained on fully licensed content from Shutterstock. So this is where I think Shutterstock and Getty Images will be a part of the future, by just licensing them to train models. And you know what will happen with the lawsuit? I don't know. Now here you can see some customer success stories that are actually using Nvidia's now GPU cloud services Picasso. So you can see Runway, that I already showed you guys, generate a lush garden. And if you haven't tried Runway yet, I highly recommend it. It's super cool to do. And there are multiple videos on my channel as well on Runway. You can see Seihan Lee, that is on Kubrick, that uses generative AI to build and edit virtual productions. So you can see here him in his studio here, and he says this includes building out environments using generative AI models and then distilling the final asset into a volume. And this is the volume, a big screen that they use in the movies that basically looks like the background is instead of a green screen, right? That engages with the individual in real time. Their cost-effective method enables filmmakers, production studios, and artists to partner with CGI specialists much earlier in the post-production process. And I've taken a look into this for like VFX artists and stuff, and they can basically create the background, and then they say, move this box over here. And then they just move the box in real time. And then like, make that mountain bigger, and then they're like, make that rocket pointier, you know? And this is gonna change how they use AI in movies faster than I thought was gonna happen. Also, Wombo Dream brings generative AI to the masses through their mobile app. Now, I actually never tried Wombo before, and they use a text prompt to generate a desired image and select a style prompt, and their image is generated within seconds. The app also allows users to share their generated art with members of the Wombo community. So apparently, they're just having an image, inputting a style, and just like that, you get some really cool creations here. that is cool to see. So obviously, Nvidia Picasso here was a huge success when they launched it, and more people will start using Nvidia to run their AI models, specifically visually. And I'm super happy to see that Nvidia is actually doing cloud computing, so you don't actually need hardware. You can just, hey, click on a website, and just like that, you're using very expensive computers to do computing for you. I just want to show you what Nvidia is working on in this video here, where they obviously have text to image, which is very normal that we have seen a lot from. Here you can also see that they have this bioluminescent jellyfish swimming in space, and just like that, it creates a video. I bet that this is trained on the same model that is Runway, and they don't create new models like that. You can also see a 3D model of a male bust with a furrowed brow and deep set eyes. And just like that, you have a 3D model that is looking absolutely amazing right there. So here you can see how the Nvidia Picasso service actually works. And let me actually do it really quick. It's so simple. So you actually put anything like this, like Edify, which is their AI generated on their own. You can actually have custom data or a custom model and use the API service to train and then optimize. And then you get whatever you want, the image, the video, or the 3D object. And then you pump it back through the Nvidia DGX cloud. And just like that, you can have it into your own app, right? So it's absolutely beautiful way of doing it to create your own apps or use the cloud computing. So this is what Adobe is using to put all these things into virtual worlds, moving around, adding trees. And I love that their partnership is so tight and coming out with beautiful partnership right off the bat. If you don't know how hard it actually is to create these 3D assets or how it was like before, for example, you can see 3D modeling and 3D printing for games is like $50, $80, $120. And I've seen sketches and 3D models go up to thousands of dollars. Now, this is something that was unheard of before. Like you can just click some buttons and then all of a sudden you got a 3D model. But now that's actually available, which is gonna make 3D modeling way easier, right? Like imagine you don't know how to use a 3D software and you want like a little game piece for your board game. Well, just write some text, click the 3D printer, and just like that, you actually have the thing in your hand, which is gonna enable us to do so many cool things. You can now create images directly in Bing Chat. Take a look at this image. Can you create me an image of an astronaut walking through a galaxy of sunflowers? Sure, I'll use Image Creator to draw that for you. And just like that, we have an amazing astronaut walking through a galaxy sunflower. Just like ChatGPT brought us like amazing AI technology into our hands by the chatting interface, hopefully this is gonna be easier for us to use as well. AI. Now, if you haven't checked out DALL-E before, I'm just gonna run it down quickly for you here. And you can obviously see like a koala dunking a basketball. Y'all have probably seen these things before. You can also remove a dog and put a cat in there and it almost looks exactly seamless, right? You can see that it has gotten way better over time. You can see that it's trained on all these images and now can create obviously really cool images of a koala on a motorbike, and maybe even put a little mohawk on Mona Lisa and even create tree bark or tree bark. And this is the complications that they're having while integrating text and images and why that's kind of hard to do, right? So you can see here that it's been trained for a long time and yada yada, monkey paying taxes. This almost looks like my ex-accountant right here. Now, I've actually used DALL-E for quite a bit and it was kind of not so good. It didn't really perform the best, but it has gotten an upgrade that makes it way better now. Now, if you don't want to pay for DALL-E, you can actually get access to it free through Bing. Let me actually go through this now. So you can see here that Bing Image Creator now allows you to create an image simply by using your own words to describe the picture you want to see. The human brain processes visual information about 60,000 times faster than text. That's crazy. 60,000 times faster, making visual tool a critical way for people to search, create, and gain understanding. Now, if I actually go to Bing right now, and I go to Bing chat and I ask it, can you create an image of a train? I'm sorry, but I'm not able to create images. However, I can help you find images of trains. Would you like me to do that? I can say yes, please. And then it will use Bing search to just pop up images of trains. Oh, what a lovely locomotive. As far as I know, this is only available now to beta users, but there is another way to access it. Now, Bing Image Creator Preview will also be available in Microsoft Edge by making it the first and only browser with an integrated AI-powered image generator, which is really nice. Now, obviously, their teams are guided by our responsible AI principles and responsible AI standard. And I think this is kind of a reason why they're not, putting it out. And this might be a big reason why they're not actually pushing it out right away. They've had some controversy for Bing actually, gaslighting users and saying kind of bad words to the users. And they don't want to have that happen with images because it will probably be about 60,000 times more damaging. Now, to curb the potential misuse of Image Creator, we are working together with our partner OpenAI to develop DALL-E to deliver an experience that encourages responsible use of Image Creator. So that's cool. I mean, I've never seen like very bad images of DALL-E or Midjourney or all of those. They actually are really good at not creating kind of weird or harmful images. And you have to go to the deeper, darker Stable Diffusion models to find out how to do that. To support the growing demand for more visual search experiences, we are also making Stories and Knowledge Cards 2.0 available to all Bing users. So you can see here that who cares, right? Availability, Bing Image Creator integrated into Bing Chat will begin to roll out to Bing Preview users. So this is what I'm talking about, on both desktop and mobile starting today. So this is about a week old here, but if you want to use it, you can go to bing.com/create. And I actually just did that and I created an image here. So the prompt that I was using was intergalactic city on Mars. And I want to compare it to some other models as well. So you can see here that the intergalactic cities, honestly, pretty decent, right? It's DALL-E, so the model is pretty good, it's just what DALL-E would pump out here. And I tried it against Midjourney as well. Now I want to do a couple of different versions so you guys can kind of see how it looks like. Kind of faint in the background, not so detailed, it's a little foggy, and even the geometry here is not really looking very, very good. And the detail is kind of missing. Now I did the exact same prompt here on Midjourney, and obviously V4 is better than DALL-E here and Bing Image Creator. So you can see here, or to me at least stylistically, it's just so much better. Like look at that dome. Look, it even created this little cave type of lookout. And this is just the first variation here. You can see this other one as well, kind of paints a story of this. What is this box doing here? And is it like kind of on its way back to this pointy spaceship? You also have this other building here that is looking amazing. I love how this looks like. And this is version 4. Now they actually released version 5, which is more realistic and looks even crazier. So look at the detail and the scale of this intergalactic space or city on Mars. And you can see obviously that Midjourney version 5 just knocks it out of the park. I'm gonna do a few different models to see which one you guys like better. Let's do an astronaut riding a horse. And obviously the images are still very good. You know, it's like we just got these type of tools like a month ago. Now, I like the way the astronaut looks and the horse. I also like the style of these ones, but let me actually this one looks really, really good on Big Image Creator here. Now, let me see what happened on Midjourney. And you can see here, this is version 4. Straight off the bat, you can see that we even got an American flag on there. Damn. We even got another American flag on the back. I didn't write in space, right? But apparently all of these images were in space. And you can see here also on version 5, they created different versions of it in different style as well. Come on, this one gotta be my favorite here. Damn, it's on the moon. The astronaut guy looking so proud as well. But to be honest, very, very nice looking from this prompt here. The horse looking a little wonky. It looks like he hasn't got sleep. Welcome to my world. Let's try one more. This one inside a futuristic house looking out over the city. So I'm going to click on create here. And first I'm going to explain you actually have a boost option. So it creates images more quickly with boost. If you run out of image generation, it may take longer. And this one, it definitely didn't do a good job at all. I don't even know what it tried to do here. You can see Midjourney version 4. Just so cool. Would you want to live like this? Damn. I tried another one saying looking out the window, and still, yeah, it's not that good. I don't even know what they're trying to do here, which is my experience with DALL-E as well, is that it just isn't the best one. I would rather use Midjourney on 99% of the cases. And here you got Midjourney version 5. Jesus Christ. It's just so good. Are you kidding me? Would you want to live here? Wow. There really is no competition with Midjourney, but the use case of using it through chat, right? That's really what we're looking at. So if it's more accessible, if it's more convenient, people are going to use DALL-E and Bing Chat Image Creator more just because it's there. But I gotta give it some sort of redemption or something. So I'm gonna just say, this is grandpa eating a cheesy pizza. I mean, it's decent. It's not the best. Hopefully we can get even better images created soon. This dude literally got a block of cheese in the other hand and the cheesy pizza. Dude, don't eat it with a fork. Like, all of these images are so weird. This dude doing like not the pointy tip. He's gonna bite directly into like the back of the crust first. All right, that's it for today. If you want videos like this where I share the newest updates on AI with you every single day, subscribe to the channel. Also, if you see anything cool in AI, tell me on Discord where you can chat with the community as well. But that's it. Peace and love, and I'll see you in the next one.